Hey guys, why did Leah change her hairstyle on Hoth?
No idea.
She was freezing her buns off.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Ho ho ho. Welcome to episode 85. What a start as always. Welcome to our Christmas special. Hello listeners and welcome to episode 85. And as always, you're listening to me, Jack, Charlie, Mike, and Jimmy here at Explore the Force. We've got a full team going ahead. How's everyone's week been? Let's start with you, Jimmy.
Uh, Good. I survived the last week of school, which, if you have any teacher friends, is absolute chaos. Kids are crying, parents are crying. What can my baby do to get her grade up? Nothing. They can do nothing. They've had 18 weeks to get the grade up. But no, it's good. We get a break. I have no practices, nothing. I don't have to be concerned with anything kind of responsibility until Friday. So I'm super excited. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so that's nice. Charlie, what about you? How was your
I'm
week?
doing good. I've managed to survive the run up to Christmas. I did my last shift on Saturday before the Christmas period starts, and now I'm back home with my family, which is so super nice. I'm super excited for this next week. It's going to be lots and lots and lots of fun. Jack, my dude, how are you doing?
Very well. I've been helping Santa, if you can see if you're watching on
I
YouTube.
I can see.
Uh, I've had a busy week with that. Apart from that, it's been nice being home with the family. Apart from that, yeah. What about you, Mike?
Doing good, doing good. Had a busy week this week delivering all the Christmas joy to everybody. But I got today and tomorrow off, work Christmas Eve, and then enjoy a nice Christmas day at home. How about you, Jimmy? I guess we already
Nice.
got you.
Yeah, we got me. No, man, you had to work Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Yikes.
Honestly, I'll tell you, my after working in retail for 10 years and now working delivery for going on 8 years, it's hard to keep up the Christmas spirit. But one thing I've always liked is working on Christmas Eve. Like, helping those last minute people get the last little bit of whatever they need for, their
Yeah.
make a happy Christmas, and now delivering all the last minute packages. So
Nice.
everybody's got what they need under the tree. I feel like Santa's little helper.
There you are. Santa's little helper. Awesome. Well, it sounds like we all had a great week. Looking forward to the week of Christmas. Just again, we want to give a massive shout out to everyone, the listeners, the viewers on YouTube, and listeners on all their podcasts. We really appreciate you guys engaging in all the Advent stuff we've done over the last 20. Well, it'll be 25 days roughly here pretty soon. Just big thank you to all of you.
Yes, and remember to like, share this episode with your Star Wars friends and family.
And to follow us on all our social media platforms, all you have to do is search Explore the Force, which is all one word. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Awesome. We sound so professional now, don't we? It's incredible. It's incredible.
So profesh.
Right, let's head in then to this week's Force Encounters. Okay, so this week's Force Encounters for myself, nothing new really. Lots of Star Wars board games with my family. Escape from the Death Star, quite an old school one. Tessa actually won that one. Do some lightsaber battles you've probably seen on the socials as well. Again, Tessa won that one. But apart from that, nice and chilled and relaxed. What about you, Charlie? Any Star Wars stuff, or just been busy trying to get home?
Busy trying to get home. Nearly got stuck in a lift today. That's a whole other story. But this last week, it's been kind of the filmiversary for the sequel movies for The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker because they all came out around this time of year. So it's been super, super nice to see people on social media like reliving their love of the sequels, which I'm always happy to be a part of. That's been really, really fun this week, to be honest.
How about you, Mike?
Uh, we don't have many Force encounters out here in the Outer Rim, but I will say yesterday I was on social media, and it reminded me that it was the 8th anniversary of the release of um, Rogue One. It and it came up with that the scene where Vader is just wrecking the dudes in the silly hats.
Yeah.
And I had a good time watching that. And some people might say it was the algorithm that fed that to me, but I like to believe it was the Force. Jimmy, how about you?
Nice.
Yeah, I have threatened all year that as soon as I got to break, I was going to play Star Wars Outlaws, and I have been on it since Friday. Um, my wife had stuff to do with friends down in a visiting town for her college buddies, so I got to come home right after school and start playing Star Wars Outlaws. And I've been playing all weekend. That's a lot of fun, and I got my new shirt from
Awesome.
Crafting on Ilum, the school shirt that I basically forced
Nice.
PR to make for me. So I'm repping that. I will do some socials for her a little bit, but yeah, been a pretty good Force Encounters week, and I'm hoping for lots and lots and lots of Force Encounters in a couple days. But yeah, we'll see. We'll come back to that eventually. But let's see. Let's head over to Bat 2 and see what's coming out of there this week.
Okay, so the first bit of news that we've got is during an interview with Vulture, where many of Disney's franchises were discussed. Alan Bergman chatted a little bit about Star Wars and revealed that Disney is currently looking at a number of additional series that are in development. Probably means nothing, could mean something. More Star Wars, the better. Who knows exactly what they're on about? I think more than anything, it's just like a little teaser more than what is coming. I mean, there's so many things that got cancelled or delayed. There was that, is it the Rogue Squadron stuff as well? They're on about bringing out the live action. So hopefully it could be on about that. I'd like to see that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Start with you, Charlie.
Me, I want to get excited and interested about these sorts of things, but I feel like the kind of the landscape of Star Wars programming has been so up and down, on and off. I'm sort of tired of investing my excitement into things when I know inevitably they're probably going to be taken off anyway. So
Yeah,
I take it with a pinch of salt, pinch of salt.
yeah, yeah. What were you thinking, Jimmy?
Yeah, same thing, Charlie. I'm sick of. They need to restructure, and I'm not. This is not calling for Kathleen Kennedy. They need to restructure, and they need to have a. They need to all be on the same page because what we were told a couple months ago that they're done doing TV shows, and we're all in this we're all worried about after Ahsoka, we have nothing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just wish they would get on the same page, find something that works, and stick with it. Push through it. I mean, if you think about, and I hate comparing it to Marvel, but you think about Iron Man, right? Iron Man, they took a gamble with it. It worked. They had planned, and they pushed through some movies that weren't great to get
yeah,
to where they're at now. I just wish that everyone on the Lucasfilm side of Disney could get in and have the same message going forward.
yeah, yeah,
It just to me it shows that they don't have a plan still, which is kind of
yeah,
disheartening. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I mean, all the things that they've announced that are on the docket, I would love to see any of them come to fruition. But
Absolutely.
it's like you're saying, I mean, it's just an endless stream of we're going to do this and then it never happens. And like you said, I'd rather just have this is what's coming. It'll be out in 18 months and, go from there.
That would be the dream.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Nice. What else we got, Jimmy?
Yeah, so this week they said a new batch of celebration badge artwork. I think there was a Sauce Ventress. I'm trying to think of which ones there were,
Yeah, there's
but
Queen Amidala came
Raj
out.
Ventress,
Sabine
Queen
Wren.
Amidala, Sabine Wren, 3PO and R2D2, and no, the Yoda was the
Ventress.
last set. I'm sure there's another one.
the artwork looks phenomenal. They've got that
Yeah,
flair for the Japanese
It's
style to it. I mean, the Sauce Ventress one
beautiful.
looks awesome. I will be working hard in Japan trying to get my hands on some of that stuff. Hopefully they have posters and they have all those. I think they had shirts one last year that had all the
yeah,
designs
they
on it.
did.
And stuff.
Hmm.
The badges look awesome. I'm excited. I hope we get good ones when we get over there.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for the posters. I really like them at the minute. The Luke one, the Yoda one for me is unreal, and out the new ones, like Sabine Wren, is unreal. Anyone else got any preferences on the badge artworks?
The Padme one has my whole heart. It is so beautiful. A lot of Padme's costuming styling in the Phantom Menace is themed around kind of Asian, specifically Japanese styles of dress. So it's really nice to see those two things fit together
Yeah.
so well. It's so gorgeous. I think I gushed about it on my Instagram story. I always do with these sorts of things.
Yeah, I've only seen the
That's a
Asajj
really good
artwork.
point.
I
Yeah.
saw the Asajj artwork. It's phenomenal. I'll have to go check out the rest of it though.
Yeah. There's lots and lots coming out. Also, we've got a few con announcements, Charlie, haven't we?
We do. We have a few con announcements. First up, we have Capital Sci-Fi Con in 2025 welcomes my granddad, Ian McDermott, on Saturday. Not actually my granddad, I'm joking. On Saturday, the 15th of February, whereas London Comic Con this year has announced that Ravi Kabot Conyers is making his convention debut at the Comic Con in spring 2025, either March 1st or March 2nd. So if you want to go
Yeah.
and meet some cool Star Wars people, get yourself to these cons. Go, 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 go.
Yes. I'm going to be maybe eyeing up London Comic Con. I don't know yet because obviously Japan's literally around the
Maybe.
corner from that. So we'll see. We'll see. And that wraps up this week's news. Okay, so going into the main show, if you're not one of those that could participate in tonight's watch along, do not worry. More than happy to take any comments, feedback, anything that you've got when you've watched it, if you do get time to watch it. And I'm sure there'll be lots of discussion on our social groups. However, what we're going to go into now is our Skeleton Crew review, because this is the first time we've had all four members of Explore the Force on screen at once. So lots of questions to get through, Jimmy.
Yeah, I thought this would be a good time to come back and kind of reflect over the first four episodes, because last week, Taylor came back on with us, so me, Mike, and Taylor got to hash it out a little bit, and that was pretty fun. But there's a lot of questions I felt like after the show. I was kind of like, oh man, I wish we could have talked. We'd been talking for 2 hours if I had thought about those
Yeah.
questions. But I kind of wanted to see where everyone sits. I mean, people know kind of where Mike and I sit because we review it every Tuesday night or whatever. But
Yeah.
we haven't really got to talk to you and Charlie about it. So I thought that would be kind of fun. And they know we're halfway through, and I want to see if any of our thoughts or feelings have changed about the things we wanted to see in it. Because like one of the questions will be about like cameos and stuff. And I think I've completely
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
my course. But first off, we'll just kind of go around the horn here and be like, so I want to know, now that we've hit the midway point, and also Mike and I are not doing live videos because we both want to stay married. So we will be probably just getting together sometime a couple days later, recording it and then pushing it out, our review, maybe with you guys as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll get that worked out. How are we feeling about Skeleton Crew halfway through? We've only got 4 episodes left. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I have enjoyed this ride. This has been, I think it's better than I expected it to be. And I'm really, really looking forward to the Skeleton Crew. So that hasn't changed for me. Jack, where are you at with
Yeah.
feeling?
So
So,
I started off real low, didn't I? I had no expectations
well, a
for
year
it.
ago at this time, you were saying the show was never coming out.
Yeah, everything. I don't know. I weren't feeling it, and obviously I've completely U-turned on that. So yeah, no, I am absolutely loving it. I've seen a few things that I thought were a bit, but apart from that, to be honest, I'm not quite sure where people don't get the Star Wars feel. I sort of get what people are saying, but for me, it does feel like Star Wars. It's just another perspective to look at. It's for kids' eyes that we're sort of seeing through, and maybe you could argue Jod's and one eye of SM33. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I can't wait for more, and I really do hope that we follow these kids growing up and it continues as well. That's what I'd like. But in terms of where I am at midway point, yeah, absolutely loving it. What about you, Charlie?
I'm like you. I came into it with very, very kind of low expectations. I was happy to just let it maybe be a show that wasn't particularly for me. Like I'm not necessarily the target audience for that show. I understand that. What's actually ended up happening is it's exceeded all of my expectations. I'm absolutely in love with it. I love the characters. I love the story. It feels fresh and different, but also feels familiar and comforting. It feels nice to have new Star Wars, especially around Christmas time. I know those two things are kind of synonymous with the history of
Yeah.
Star Wars, so that's been really nice. Neil has my whole entire heart. Anyone who will listen to me talk about Skeleton Crew for 5 minutes knows that Neil is my boy, and I love him to death. And if anything happens to him, if anything happens, I will be rioting. Thank you.
Nice. What about you, Mike?
Oh, it's just great. I mean, I like everybody else, I'm not sure what I expected when it started out. We had the poll up to everybody to make their predictions and stuff like that, and I think we found that so far all of our predictions were completely wrong. But I mean, it's just such a fun show leading up to the Christmas holidays. What we were looking forward to is something light and fun and
Yeah.
just a good time. And I just love the kid actors. You sometimes have a fear that they're not going to be
Yeah.
great, but these kids are just knocking it out the park. I mean,
Yeah.
everything they're doing is just great. The way they're going about it, the themes that they're hitting. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful Star Wars show, and anybody that says it's not, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, completely agree, especially with those kids because their energy, like I keep saying, is unreal. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, like I said, I've really enjoyed it. Kind of checking all the boxes for me. I would agree that I don't understand the hate for it. I think some people are just predisposed to hating things and they feel like that. But I will say that it seems a lot quieter around this show than it has, with the Acolyte, which is I'm thankful for. And I have not seen any negativity towards the kids. I have
No.
seen people say they don't like the show and blah blah blah, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen anyone attacking these young kids yet. I think they know better. I think that
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, you know that would be a death sentence socially. With cancel
Yeah.
culture, we'll go after them. But yeah, and this show has given us a ton of new characters. We got the main crew, everything we've seen from the first episode through the four. Who has been Well, we know Charlie. We'll start with Charlie. Who has been and maybe why? Give some. Uh, who has been your favorite new character in Star Wars? So we got lots of brand new characters in Star Wars. It's pretty exciting. Who and why? So Charlie, do you want to give us another 5 minute plug for Neil real quick?
So I would give you guys another 5 minute plug for Neil, but I also want to mention Kim is a really, really interesting character to me. I know we've seen kind of that like animal alien sort of hybrid before, but never quite to the extent I think we've seen Kim, especially the fact that she's an owl, but there's also like some cat features in there as well, which I
Mhm.
thought was quite
Yeah.
cool. Her character and the idea that she knows more than we do as the viewer is really, really interesting to me. And the way she was with the children, and she kind of was this sort of Jocasta Nu energy of this is the archive, this is the information that I have, of course I'll help you. It was just a really interesting take that I wasn't expecting. Like I'd seen pictures of the owl, did not realize that she was like fully conscious, sentient, spoken full sentences, behaved as you and I would behave. That was a really kind of nice surprise. I'd also like to point out, and I think it's in the second episode, Neil makes a comment about look at all of these aliens. That is the first time we have ever heard the word alien used to refer to other creatures and like species in Star Wars. It's a word that's often George often was didn't want anything to do with it. It was very much a kind of no-no for him. But I thought that was really interesting. And obviously he's a kid. He's come from an
Yeah.
incredibly sheltered world where everybody sort of looks like him or his mates, and that's it. No, these are aliens to him. Everything about this is alien. So why not go full ham with a talking owl cat lady?
Yeah.
I love it. The creativity is off the charts for this show. I feel like they've really, really pushed it in a way that's so pleasing to watch. Genuinely.
Yeah, absolutely. Legacy Effects. Our friends Don and Tamara. Sorry, they told us that they weren't responsible for creating Kim, but they were. They have helped bring her to life in that episode, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what about you, bud? Favorite
Well,
character?
it's going to be boring because I can't put my nickel down on any of them. Um,
Ooh,
I mean, seriously, everybody is hitting all the notes that they need to hit for those characters. Like
Mm.
there's been of the main cast basically. There's been a focus on each of the kids to develop their story, and every story is interesting, intriguing, and just wonderful. The way they're acting it out, the way they're going through the motions and everything. So I mean, I can't I can't pick just one. I like them all.
I'm
even
glad to hear that.
Yeah,
That's
even
awesome.
Jod. I really love the way they're telling Jod's story. Like
Yeah.
this is a show for kids, so they're letting the kids drive the narrative. I think you have this movie star that hardly has any lines so far. I mean, he's not getting as much screen time. He's not getting as many lines, but the lines he has they're hitting home. The scenes he's in are impactful, and the way they're telling his story is great because he's this mysterious fella that we don't know a lot about. And so
Yeah.
far, like his biggest storylines have all been off camera. Like he goes and retrieves SM-33. We see him get SM-33, but then there's a gap between where he gets SM-33 and where he's head back to the ship, lasers blazing on his tail. And then in this last episode where he's left at the ship, they encounter the other group, and then he's off until the kids encounter him again, and he's saved the day. So it's
Yeah.
interesting how they're going about that. Like he's got such a backstory developing, but they're not telling it. Everything's still staying a mystery with him, and I just love how they're going about the storytelling.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Jack, what about you, bud?
Yeah, easy one for me would probably be Neil. Like, incredible, absolutely incredible.
Nation.
Neil Nation all day. Closely followed by Jude Law, purely because he looks like me. But yeah, Neil all day. I don't know what you're laughing at, but yeah, Neil all day for me. Absolutely incredible character. What about you, Jimmy?
Oh man, so yeah, Kim has blown my mind. I think my love of the Sword and the Stone and Archimedes has tied that for me. But I really like SM-33 until this last episode.
Yeah.
I think he'll be redeemed. Obviously, he's a droid, but I just blown away by how Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Disney, whoever, how they can keep creating new droids, new
That's
designs
crazy.
that
Yeah,
just make you love him. And he's
yeah,
up
yeah,
until that last minute. He's been their saving grace. I mean, he's sitting there, come on, baby. He's like in baby mode, and threatening Jod with the torch. Behind the kids, making them think that the kids, making the kids think they're in charge, and just the different things like that. I've really enjoyed. Now he was scary as heck. There at the end of this last episode. But I really enjoyed SM-33, and I think Nick Frost is doing a terrific job with the voice. But yeah, I've really kind of like what you said too, though, Mike, is like everyone has been doing a great job given their opportunities. I still think we need KB's story to be fleshed out a little bit more.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I would have to say SM-33, just given my love for droids. So very cool. We're gonna stick on the idea of favorites. Out of the 4 episodes so far, do we have a favorite one? Do we have one that really sticks out? I know I got into some arguments with people online about episode 4 being a downer compared to the first 3, but I was like, my argument
Yeah.
was take a look at what it's trying to say in the story it's trying to push forward and
Yeah.
what it's probably setting up for the kids when they get back to Atten. I said, I
Yeah.
think this one will be pivotal, I think, moving forward. But what did you? And that's the only time I've seen anyone really knock any of the episodes. And I thought, oh, here we go. People are going to start, chipping away at this. But Jack, we'll start with you. What has been your favorite episode?
Easily episode 2 for me. Easily. When we go to that spaceport, there's all those different aliens, all the effects, all the little one-liners, and then the ending as well. Floaty key, Jedi stuff. I mean, if you hadn't really watched any trailers or knew anything about it, which is probably impossible nowadays, you would actually think Jod is a straight-up Jedi straight away just from that. So keep with an open mind. If I was to watch this and know nothing and just watch episode 2, well, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, 2 would have blown my mind like it did anyway. But yeah, episode 2, just purely because all the effects and all that good stuff. So yeah, episode 2 for me, Jimmy.
Nice. Charlie, favorite
So
episode?
for me, I actually think it would have to be the latest episode purely for Jod's absolutely incredible one-liner of "You there, what flag do you fly?"
Yeah,
Honestly, just shoot me. That, specifically that, I have not belly laughed at a Star Wars line like that in a long time. The humor just I don't know. I guess because obviously it's mostly for kids, but it also implies that parents will be watching this with their kids. So I feel like some of this
yeah,
really quick, quippy humor has been put in specifically for the adults. So we're not kind of too bored with all of the kid stuff. But I think Star Wars has always been good at doing that sort of thing. And I think this fourth episode was a really nice culmination of we've got established personalities with all of the kids. We've got Jod, we've got is he a Jedi? Is he not a Jedi? All of these different nicknames. Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Betrayal, there's so much to sink your teeth into this last episode. I think it's a really beautiful kind of crescendo to the beginning, kind of lift of the first 3 episodes of here we are, this is what's going on, these are who the children are. And now we've got some stuff for them to do. Now we've got some meat to sink our teeth into. And it's paying off. It's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I can't disagree with Charlie or Jack, but I'm going to go with episode 3. Episode 3, they go and they meet Kim. So we're introduced to that clever character. I mean, just like we've already touched on what an amazing little character she is. But the things about episode 3 for me that hit is the kids jumping into the Onyx Cinder and trying to escape the X-wings. Like putting the scene that we've all seen 100 times of putting Neil in charge and like Neil, and then they go back to the turrets and Jod pulls down the one turret and Wim's jumping in the turret and just that look of pure ecstasy on his face, like I'm gonna get to shoot a gun, and setting him up in there, and just like, and then at the very as they're getting away from the X-wings, they're shooting off into hyperspace. You get to see like that whole crew come together as an actual crew. KB's over there on the punching in the coordinates for the hyperdrive. You got Neil in the pilot seat, Jod, directing everybody where to go. The two in the turrets, they're all coming together as a crew. I just loved it. Episode 3, fantastic.
Nice. Yeah,
Did
that
it
look on his
remind you?
face. Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
Sorry, I was going to say, Mike, did it remind you of that bit in The Force Awakens where like Rey's flying the Falcon and Finn's in the gun turret and they're,
Oh yeah.
they're they're chatting with each other and there's all of that kind of excitement and insanity of, oh my goodness, what on earth is going on?
hmm Yeah, there's so many. It's a just a Star Wars moment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, how many times have we pretended to be jumping into a turret
Oh
when we were
God,
kids?
yeah. Uh huh.
From Solo and Skywalker climbing in there, and great shot, kid. Don't get cocky. Like
hmm
just it's kind of like getting to see those kids live out our fantasies. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing
That's what it
things
is.
It really is.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just gonna round it out then because I'm gonna go with episode 1 because I could really probably pick any of them, and we haven't picked that one.
hmm
And here's the reason: that opening sequence was I'm
Fair.
like, well, Star Wars is back, baby, because I mean, you got you got ships opening up, you got they tie the piracy into it, all the
Yeah.
fighting, shooting, and just I mean, I thought, hey, they just set the tone for it, and then of course we get to meet Wim and all these characters, and you're getting these different Amblin vibes like that we've talked about at nauseum, but it was like and you knew from this episode they weren't kidding, like they said they're
Yeah.
doing this is what they're doing, and I mean I've been hooked ever since. So it's easy for me to pick any of these. I did love Neil's moment with in episode 4 with was it with Hana when he's talking
Hannah.
about about not having to fight and fighting is bad, and how
Mhm.
simple it is for kids, and I like that's what the part of the I was trying to explain to those people online. I think that'll come in around. But yeah, episode 1 set the tone. This is a show we're going to get. Started all the questions.
Mm.
I was loving it. So
I just want to make sure everyone knows this. We did not talk about this in advance. It's amazing that we all picked a different episode. Now, Jimmy, I mean, you were just left with the
Yeah.
scraps, but it's still every episode. I mean, honestly, every episode has something you could definitely easily be your favorite. And I
yeah.
just find it interesting that without any planning, we all picked a different episode. That's great.
No, I think that shows the strength of the show too, that we can all find things.
Yeah, for
Like you
sure.
said, something in every episode. So um, yeah. Well, okay. So there's all these mysteries, and I feel like that's the only one thing I'll say is I think like the at Akron stuff in episode 4 kind of I don't know if it necessarily answered questions, but it kind of showed us that these 9 planets or whatever, they're all set up the same, so it's starting to bring the story together a little bit. So those mysteries, but I kind of want to start with the big mystery first, and I think Jack, you talked about it. I think it was Jack or maybe it was Charlie about who or what is Jod Nawood, Captain
Yeah.
Silva, and Jack. Who or what is this guy? Do we have any more thoughts on this. Are we more confused now than we were at the beginning? Because we made this prediction sheet, and I'm trying to think of where's the question that said, "Is Jod
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's like I said, Jedi Order Jedi, a Sith, Order of Survivor of Order 66, or none of the above." We had people all over the place that filled this out. So let's talk about Jod, because like Mike, you brought it up too. Like this is Jude Law. Like this is this is one of the biggest actors in the world, and like you said, like he hasn't been. I mean, I thought this was going to be his story with the kids involved, and
Right.
it's been his story with him involved, and I think he's doing great. But who or what do we think about Jod now? Like, where are we at? Charlie, you want to start us off with Jod?
I will happily start you guys off. So immediately I was like, he's not a Jedi. I am press X to doubt that man is not a Jedi. He is using some kind of party tricks because obviously we saw that fake Jedi in Kenobi, didn't we? Who was doing all of those like charlatan tricksy things to make people think he was a Jedi. And I think that's partly what's going on. But specifically the nickname Crimson Jack, all I can think of is Crimson Dawn. That's the only thing that keeps, but that's such a specific nickname to have. So, so specific. I
Yeah.
get the feeling that he's very much kind of he's a jack of all trades. He's whoever he needs to be for whatever the situation happens to be. He's very much that kind of a con man. I think he's a straight up con man. But obviously, I know we've seen in stories before when you
Yeah.
introduce a con man to a group of vulnerable children, suddenly they soften a little. Suddenly they'll be nice. Suddenly they'll do nice things. Which is why I think when he appeared through the smoke when we were expecting the army in the fourth episode, I was fully like, oh, uh, okay. This is not what I was expecting, but he is 100% a con man, and that man is not a Jedi.
Mike,
Yeah,
what do
I
you
would.
see on Jod? Nah, I would.
I would agree 100% with Charlie. I mean, what I was hoping for out of Jordan Norwood is that he is just the scoundrel con man, doesn't use the force. He uses tricks and whatnot and so far they haven't. I mean, there hasn't been anything that couldn't be explained some other way. Every time he's used the force, it could be explained in some other way.
Yeah.
And there go my dogs. My dogs like the idea too. Uh, yeah, I mean, just the idea of him. They haven't told enough of the story yet to really fill in all the blanks. So there's still that great mystery about him. And like I said earlier, I like how they're telling the story. Every time he's accomplishing something significant in the show, it's off camera. There's mystery to it. They just keep the mystery about him, and I like how they're going about it.
Nice.
What about you,
Nice.
Jack? How do you feel your doppelganger is doing so far? What do you think he is? Do you have any insight, like telepathy going on between you and Jude? Because
Yeah.
so much like both so devilishly handsome and just amazing
Yeah.
actors.
It's easy for me to tell. I sort of agree with both Charlie and Mike in a way. I don't think he's a Jedi, but I do think he's got the Force. I just think he's learned to adapt it to a certain level to get what he needs, and I think that's what's helped him. Getting those creatures. The name escapes me for episode 4. Getting the key, all that good stuff. So I think he's got the Force because anyone can have the Force. We know that. So I think it's sort of coming out now in live action. It doesn't have to be a Jedi. It doesn't have to just be a Sith. Anybody can have it. We've seen it with the Broom Boy in the Last Jedi. He wasn't a Jedi or a Sith. So why not put it into the TV series now? But yeah, I do agree with Charlie in the fact that Crimson Jack's a very specific name. However, thinking about it as well, you look at all the previous pirates that we know in Star Wars Galaxy, famous ones, let's say, and they've all got different names or aliases. So, for example, Hondo. Not many people knew Hondo by Hondo. It was always different names. Ezra started going around to the people he was Jabba the Hutt, etc. So it's quite common, I think, for, let's say, a special pirate to have different names or different identities, so to speak, because it will get them out of trouble or get them into trouble, depending on what they're up to. But yeah, it's a good one. I like you've all said as well. For me, Jude Law is basically the anchor of the show. He doesn't need the screen time. He's a proven Hollywood star. He's got the star to prove it the other week. He's happy to be in Star Wars. He wants to be in Star Wars. And I think he was brought in to sort of steady the ship. So he is like a pirate, I guess, in acting terms as well. But at the same time, he doesn't have to, because like I said, with the kids, they're amazing. Like the energy they brought. And he's just that guiding hand, man. And he just do what you need to do, but if you need any help or advice or you're going the wrong way, I'll help you out. That's what I think he was brought in for, if I'm honest.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited for it. They got the Crimson Jack. There's references to the first Marvel series of Star Wars. I think the
Yeah,
first a couple episodes, or magazines from Marvel Star Wars back in the day. There was a guy named Crimson Jack that went after, I think it was after Solo. So there's
yeah,
that. The Captain Silvo stuff. I'm excited to see where it goes. I have no clue. I mean, I do think he
yeah.
has the
Same.
Force. But I think Mike and I, when Taylor, we talked about it a little bit. This would be a good place. All this actions happen. We got all these questions, and you know, how do you pick back up from how episode 4 finished?
Mhm.
Where they're just on top of Neil and everything like that. Is this the time that we get like a flashback or something? The next director is Jake Schreier, and he's the guy who's doing Thunderbolts. Um, the newest Marvel film that's coming out in 2025. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's action or something. But yeah, I honestly, I feel more confused now than I was, prior to, because I thought it was a simple, like, yeah, he's a Jedi or he's not a
Mm.
Jedi. But now there's more to it. So,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
exciting, like you guys said. Like, I think it's fun. I know some people out there are just like,
I love
oh,
it.
questions, they're not answering anything. Like, well, we got 4 episodes left. Like, you'll be fine. Like,
Mhm.
relax. It's the same thing we said about all the shows. Relax. Let
Yeah,
the show play itself out. I mean, I don't understand why people don't understand that. Um, but yeah, so hopefully we'll get a good mystery, get some stuff answered for us. Maybe not everything. It'll be fun to have a little bit of mystery even
yeah.
after the
Why not?
show is over. But
Mhm.
one thing I wanted to talk about, because it has been missing for me a little bit, I haven't noticed it. So this year I got my Spotify Wrapped,
Mhm.
tells you what your
Yeah,
favorite things are. And Kevin Kiner was my number one artist, right? So if you don't know who that is, it's the
Oh, damn.
yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I listened to a lot of stuff from the Clone Wars and Rebels, and of course Ahsoka show. He's done the music for all of that, and that was like my number one. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the music. I don't even feel like this. Maybe my I don't even. It's not a negative for me, but I don't feel like there hasn't been a piece of music that has been like, oh, I want to put that
yeah. I
on,
know what you mean.
on replay. If you know what I mean. So I don't know
Yeah,
if maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe I'm so pulled into the show that I'm not noticing it yet. How do you guys, how do you feel about the music so far? Is it missing? Does it matter? Because we focused a lot on music this last couple of weeks with the John Williams stuff and going
yeah. We
down
are.
to Oklahoma City. So, Mike, what do you think about the music, Mike? Like, I felt like Ahsoka had this score that was like, I mean, it was very Game of Thrones esque, but I mean, it was like one of my top songs. I just listened to it over and over and over again because I loved it so much. I
Mhm.
haven't had that piece of music yet. Have you? How is the music resonating with you at all? Or
I mean, it doesn't jump out at me like you said as anything that I really need to put on my playlist or anything. But at the same time, I do feel like it is maybe not getting noticed because it's just appropriate. It's just the right music for the background. It's not jarring. It doesn't take you out of it. It kind of adds to it, but not in a way that really jumps out and grabs you. I do like.
Yeah,
I can remember specifically in episode 3 as they were going to land on the moon or whatever it was to meet Kim. There was like a really kind of like 50s sci-fi feel to the music. Like I do remember that jumping out at me, but I mean it was fitting for that episode, And but beyond that, I mean it's fine, but nothing like you said, nothing really jumping out as crazy.
yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with Mark. I'm the exact same. I'm big into music, but there's nothing jumping out. But that, again, not in a negative way. I probably haven't noticed 'cause I'm so involved in the story. But again, the music always helps. I'm sure if there was a score or something I didn't like, I'd soon pick up on it, or or think like that doesn't sound right or whatever. So it's probably a good thing, and also not a bad thing. Yeah, I'm not really noticing anything. But what I will say is I do like a good intro or outro music. It really gets you going, so to speak. Like Ahsoka's was brilliant. Andor's soundtrack's amazing. And obviously got all the Star Wars movie soundtracks, absolutely quality. Solo's a big one as well. Um, but yeah, for me, I'm exact same as Mark. it's there and it's doing its job. It's fine.
What about you, Charlie?
So I have really enjoyed the music, and I think something that I feel like, how do I explain this? So especially with newer Star Wars content, you'll often hear excerpts from the John Williams pieces used as kind of motifs throughout the kind of new score, just so we know this is the Force or this is Jedi related, which is why I think John is not a Jedi. Because when he did all of his Jedi stuff, I was listening so carefully for those opening notes of the Force theme that we're so used to hearing. They nearly did it. It was
Hmm.
off by like one or two notes. It was the essence, the whiff of the Jedi music, and I was like,
Yeah,
no, they're not doing it right now. So I think the music has been, it's hitting that midpoint of being noticeable so that you pay attention to it, so that it informs the storytelling, but not so unique and different that it either takes away from the story or leads you in a different direction. Like a really good example is the song Power of Two from The Acolyte. I think that was used in like episode 4 or 5 for the outro. I was not expecting like some full kind of drum and bass pop piece in Star Wars. It's a brilliant song. I've listened to it over and over and over. It's even on like one of my writing playlists. It's so good. That was a really specific song telling a really specific story. I'm kind of glad we haven't had anything like that with Skeleton Crew, because it almost allows the characters to speak for themselves. And I think music plays such an important part in Star Wars with the storytelling, that I think when it's
yeah,
not part of the
massively.
storytelling, it does need to take that step back. It's okay if it's not as memorable, as recognizable, because it's more meant to be kind of a background thing. I think there are layers to it, especially when it comes to adding music into TV shows. That's my
Nice.
2 pence on it.
Oh, that's great.
Mhm.
I got one last question for everybody. Then we're going to wrap this up because we got things to do here in a few minutes.
Busy.
Movie stars to rub elbows with. So let's speaking of movie stars, cameos. This is a big topic all the way leading up to this. My mind has changed where I thought maybe they were going to need these cameos. We needed Hondo, we needed Maz, we needed Cal Kestis, as wild as that. I never bought into that one. But for me, the question is cameos. Is it too late for cameos in this show? Does the show need them? Charlie.
No, it doesn't. After the faff, fuss, and kerfuffle of Mundi in The Acolyte, I genuinely don't think this show need. Don't get me started, because I'll go on a soapbox and I won't get off, and we'll overrun and it'll be a whole mess. I do not think that this show needs cameos in any way, shape, or form. Like I know we've had a couple of hints, like there's maybe that guy who was maybe in the Mandalorian, but we're not 100% sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't want to see like Yoda or Grogu, or I don't know who could show up at this point, but I don't think it needs it. Let the show speak for itself. Let the characters, let the writing, let the directing. Star Wars got way too reliant on its cameos, way too reliant on that nostalgia farming for all of us oldies who are like, "Where's Kenobi?" No.
Says the youngest person on the
Enough
Yeah.
now. Listen, listen. I was there in the trenches, okay? I was there. I remember it. Leave me alone. No, I don't think this show needs cameos. And I think if they do a cameo, it's probably going to be something a lot more subtle and maybe not in the, excuse my language, the realm of the gulp toes. You know? Not no. Let it sit on its own. Let it be its own thing for once, please.
Nice. Mailman.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think we need any cameos. I really don't think we're going to get any. I mean, the only cameo I could see that would fit is maybe the Hondo cameo, but I really don't think that that's coming. I mean, we're definitely going to get back to the pirates at some point, but and Hondo would have a place there, but I really don't think we're going to get it. And like I said, really don't think we need it. The show stands on its own. It doesn't need any callbacks.
Santa.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with both of them. I do like a good cameo, I'm not going to lie. I think Hondo would fit nicely in there, but where exactly, I'm not too sure, especially timeline wise. But yeah, it doesn't need it. And Charlie perfectly said it, that the story, the show standing on its own two legs. I don't want to say that the weaker shows needed cameos. I mean, we've seen cameos go wrong in the past, like Mandalorian season 3, that there was no need for Jack Black. And what I don't even know the other girl's name. Was it Liz?
Lizzo.
Lizzo. The
Lizzo,
Jack
yeah.
Black Lizzo
Yeah.
cameos will burn me for the rest of.
Yeah.
I am
So
still bitter about it.
it can go horribly wrong if not done correctly. But the way the show's going, I don't think it needs it. I think the show producers, directors also know it. They'll probably put the little things in there which have been brilliant so far. Like the holiday special, the Star Wars, the ships, Tor's ship. Those little Easter egg sort of things. But cameo wise, nah. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I changed my mind completely. I mean, I really wanted Hondo and Maz. I still wouldn't mind a Hondo. I would love to see him, real, live action Hondo and how they bring it together. And I think they've set that up with, Galaxy's Edge and different stuff. But I don't think it needs it. I won't be mad if it happens. I don't know where they put it, like you said, but I wasn't planning on a mirror planet that's been war torn and civil warred either. So who knows what happens next, where they go. But I don't. That's another thing too, is I don't think the show needs it. I think they're doing great. So and I they have tied it to the Mando with Vane. And that was the way they handled that. Couple seconds, couple minutes, total screen time, maybe 3 minutes total screen time. A character that, if you're a hardcore fan, you recognize from season 3. And it ties this universe together. But I don't think it needs it.
Could you imagine though? Could you imagine people taking off if they did some sort of tie with a Kanji club, Solo and Chewbacca running away with that ship or whatever?
Oh, one of those.
Magic
Yeah, I
Club.
mean, I think there's possibility for, like, because they talked about a bounty at the end of episode 2, and we haven't seen any bounty hunters yet. So they have set it up that someone could show up, but I mean, I don't know who that's going to be. So, but I think that's all we got for this week, though. I mean, it sounds like everyone's really loving the show. We're excited for the next 4 episodes. Again, we'll push out our reviews as soon as we can, working around the holidays and our family stuff. But we will get them out, folks. Follow our socials like you have been, and we'll get them out to you guys as soon as humanly possible. Jack, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, normally we do our little Star Wars quotes or whatever. And normally some people aren't prepared with these Star Wars quotes. So I'll make it nice and simple. Just for me, is just, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all the listeners. Again, thank you for all the support. Me and Jimmy, when we started this, had no idea how much this would take off. We've got 2 new wonderful members on the team as well, helping us, onwards and upwards. So yeah, from myself, everyone listening, thank you very much. Merry Christmas and happy.
The Christmas tree's on fire. Santa's holding the lighter. My parents are both liars. I got gifts but 1 subscribers. Thanks for the candy basket. Oh, got another jacket. My stocking's filled with acid. Am I dreaming? What just happened? This is not